All right, we are back. We are back talking about Laura Owens. I felt like we should circle it back just one more time because we recently went over Laura Owens' indictment, but we never really followed up with the actual arraignment. If you don't know who Laura Owens is and you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, I am talking about the lady who accused bachelor Clayton Echard of being the father of her twins that apparently never existed. Well, she went through a whole paternity trial and then tried to tell the court that she miscarried. And then she was like, okay, well, we'll just let it all go away. And the court was like, no. I'm going to report you for perjury and fraud and all of the things. And now she has a criminal case going against her. We covered this a couple of weeks ago where, the indictment was put out. We know what she's being arrested for. And then we kind of missed the arraignment. So that's what we're going to be covering today to figure out like what she pleaded, why she pleaded what she pleaded. And we can talk about whether we think if she's going to go to jail. The other thing that we're going to have going on today is some Reddit stories about also being baby trapped. And so that we can get y'all's opinions on whether you think these stories are reasonable. Do we really think that baby trapping happens all that often? And honestly, should it be considered a crime at this point? The way that Laura Owens did it was pretty criminal. And the judge seemed to have think so too. But we'll talk about some of these other stories and figure out whether we think that's criminal or not. So I cannot talk today. I've been talking all day, and maybe that's why. So we'll go ahead and start back with Laura Owens' indictment, just so we can kind of remind ourselves of what's going on with her, what she is even facing criminal charges for. And then we'll get into the arraignment, which is a pretty short video. And we'll talk about why she pled the way that she pled. So let's go ahead and get Bossy B in here. She has not made an appearance in a while. Oh. If I'm gonna get Bossy B in here, I actually have to know how to pull her onto the screen. So anyways, let me go ahead and pull up. I'm not prepared. And y'all give a big shout out to Kimmy because she grabbed all of this stuff for me. I was telling her that I was in trial today. I had a full calendar on Tuesday, and then I have a full calendar tomorrow. So I really was not about to stream today, but y'all got to give big shout outs to Kimmy because she grabbed everything for me so that we can cover it today. So yes, again, thank you very much. Let's go ahead and jump into this document, the indictment. Let's talk about Laura Owens. And y'all got to let me know, like, did you watch the Laura Owens trial? And if you didn't watch the trial, did you kind of just watch people cover it? Did you see the documents that was being presented? Let's talk about it. We got the screen that I need here. Why is it so little? What did I do? This is the one I want. I was like, what am I doing? Okay, so we are in the state of Arizona. That is who's bringing the criminal charges against Laura Owens because that's where she filed her fraudulent paternity action against Clayton Echard. And if you don't remember, Clayton Echard was the bachelor. I don't know what season he was on. I don't watch the season like that. But she basically invited him over, or he invited her over. I don't know. Somehow they were at one of the other's apartment. They apparently, did some adult activities that did not involve both people's reproductive organs and only involved her mouth and his reproductive organs. And she said that she got pregnant from that. Okay. And so people were calling this case the case of the tonsil twins because she's claiming that she got pregnant from doing oral things, right? Can I say all of this? I feel like these are clear words that I could say on YouTube within the first 5 minutes of the live stream. Hopefully y'all are catching my drift. So essentially, they never actually had full-on adult activities. They just did some oral stuff. She started claiming that she was pregnant. She wanted him to be involved in the pregnancy. She filed the paternity lawsuit while she was allegedly still pregnant. Well, we know it's not allegedly anymore because the court found that she was never, ever pregnant. So she filed the lawsuit so that he would participate. Like, she wanted child support and she wanted him to like participate, like go into the doctor's appointment, helping her shop for baby things. Like, lady, first of all, you are not in a relationship. Second of all, y'all never really hooked up fully to result in a baby. And three, like, if he doesn't want to be involved, why are you trying to make him be involved? It gives a little bit cuckoo. It gives cuckoo. And Clayton thought so too. And so They go through the lawsuit. The court starts asking too many questions about the evidence that she's presenting, and we'll go over some of it in the indictment really quick. And then she goes, oh, well, would you look at that? I can't take the in utero pregnancy test because, wow, look, I miscarried. The babies are not here anymore. So there's no way that we can do the paternity test because the babies are gone. Clayton Echard goes, no. We're not doing that. We're going to go forward with a trial, and I want the court to find that you were never pregnant and that you lied and that you're going to have to pay my attorney's fees, which he did succeed on, y'all. He did succeed on that. So this is how we ended up here at the criminal trial. I feel like I'm like long-winded, but whatever. Let's get into it. Okay, so we got count 1, fraudulent schemes and artifices. We got forgery. We got perjury. We got perjury again. We got perjury again, and we got perjury again. A class 4 felony. She was indicted. We also have tampering with physical evidence. The grand jury of Maricopa County, Arizona, accused Laura Michelle Owens on May 1st of 2025, charging that in Maricopa County, in Arizona. Laura Michelle Owens, on or between May 17, 2023 and June 10, 2024, pursuant to scheme and artifice. Am I saying that right? Artifice to defraud, knowingly did obtain a benefit from Clayton Ray Echard by means of fraudulent pretenses, representations, promises, or material omissions in violation in the penal code. So what did she do? She lied about being pregnant. She filed a document under penalty of perjury saying that she was pregnant by Clayton Echard. And then she asked for for child support. She wanted him to give her money in order for her to proceed with this invisible, non-existent pregnancy. Okay. And then we have the wait a minute. Oh, that was count 1. I'm like, what am I reading? Okay, now count 2, Laura Michelle Owens, on or before June 27, 2023 and July 11, 2023, with intent to defraud, did falsely make, complete, or alter a written instrument, to wit, a sonogram, in violation of the code section. If you guys watch the case, you would remember that she had these sonograms that was supposed to be of her, right? She claimed that she went to certain clinics that weren't open on the certain days that she was supposedly at the clinics. Someone said, or I think it came out that the sonogram was actually a sonogram of her sister and not of her. I think there was one sonogram was of Google and not of her. So she basically falsified a sonogram for her to show Clayton and also the courts, hey, look, I am pregnant. Look, this is my sonogram. How could you say that I was never pregnant? And let's not forget, she didn't just go with the story that she was pregnant with one kid. She went out there and told those people she was pregnant with 2 children. She was having twins. All the while, she never ever went to the doctors to have a sonogram. Okay. And that's one of the things they're saying, that she doctored up. Count 3, Laura Michelle Owens, on or about October 25, 2023, in regard to material issue and believing it to be false, did make false sworn statements, to wit, testifying in front of Judge John Duty, funny name, that she had not been intimate with anyone else since March 2022. So she was basically saying that Clayton Echard was the father because she had not slept with anyone for a year and a half, essentially. I don't really remember the facts that came out on that, if y'all do, about who she did hook up with during that time. But she never even actually hooked up with Clayton the proper way to get pregnant. So I can't remember. Kimmy, do you remember who they found that she did actually sleep with? I cannot remember if that was a finding or not. If somebody came forward and said that they did hook up with her. And then let's go into count 4. We got Laura Michelle Owens, on or about March 1, 2024, in regard to material issue and believing it to be false, did make a false sworn statement, to wit, claiming that the sonogram image was hers during a sworn deposition. So again, she is lying about that, that sonogram that she's claiming to be her, and it was not her, okay? And then we got count 5 of Laura Michelle Owens saying on or about March 1st, 2024, in regard to material issue and believing it to be false, did make a false sworn statement, to wit, video clip of father touching her pregnant belly. And apparently the video was the father touching her sister's pregnant belly, which is like beyond insane. I don't even know who gave her the video. Was the sister okay with this? This is absolutely, I forget how ridiculous this case was. You had a video of your dad touching a belly and the belly wasn't even yours. And then you presented that to the court. And now the thing that gets me about the way that these things are worded is that it's material issue and believing it to be false did make false sworn statements. Now, if you followed that case, you know Laura was a little bit maybe not in her right mind. I know I keep saying cuckoo, but we're going to go with she was a little cuckoo, okay? What if she didn't believe it to be false? What if she really did think that it was her belly? Now she's going to have to prove her mental health and instability as to why she believed it was her belly that her dad was rubbing. You know, you never took that video with your dad, but knowing Laura, and if she's going to have Greengrass as her Greengrass as her attorney, which he shouldn't be because this is a criminal matter, not a civil matter, which is what the paternity case was. Are they going to say, well, no, if she didn't believe it to be false, she really thought that belly was her. She really thought that sonogram was her. She really thought all of that. And my girl was Acrobat, Adobe, whatever pro at editing documents. And now we're talking about a whole video. Okay. So let's jump back into it. We got, I think I did that one. Count 6. Laura Owens on or about June 10, 2024, in regard to material issue and believing it to be false, made a false sworn statement claiming that that's me showing my pregnant stomach, which we all know right now as we're talking about it, it was her sister's stomach. It wasn't her stomach, okay? And she testified to this. Why did her attorney not fact check? Oh my gosh. Count 7, Laura Owens on or about June 10, 2024, with intent that it be used, introduced, rejected, and made unavailable in an official proceeding which was then pending or which Laura Owens knew was about to be instituted, did destroy, mutilate, alter, conceal, or remove physical evidence to wit, Exhibit A6 through A7 used during the June 10th hearing with the intent to impair its verity or availability in violation of the statute. I don't remember which evidence she made disappear, but I do remember that she made some evidence disappear. Yeah. So those are the 7 things that she's in trouble for. She's in trouble for testifying falsely. She's in trouble for doctoring up images. She's in trouble for lying and saying that a video was her belly when it really wasn't her belly. And then she's guilty of lying and saying, hey, look at that, guys. That's me. Y'all said I wasn't pregnant. Look at my pregnant belly. And like her belly wouldn't have even been that far. Oh my gosh. The girl is just not all the way there, in my opinion. If y'all got comments, make sure y'all are dropping it in the chat so I can know what you think. If y'all remember some things that I didn't remember about this, go ahead and feel free to drop it in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and check out what the people are saying. Hello to everyone that is here live. Actually, I think I have time to actually go and say hello to everyone that's here. So let's do that. And then we'll jump into the comments while we were going over the indictment. And then we'll jump into the actual arraignment. Like I said, it is a pretty short video, but we are going to watch it to figure out what she actually pled. Why she's, well, it's not, we're not going to figure out why she's pleading it, but we're going to hear why she's pleading it. And then we're going to chat about that. And then we'll jump into the Reddit stories of some other baby trapping, trifling people. I think that was a good one. Okay, so let's go ahead and say hello to everyone. We got Leela Wells saying hi, hello, and welcome in. We got Akaruki saying I'm here. Hello, welcome back. Saying, wait, is this a premiere or a stream? It's a stream. It's a stream, yes. We are live. We are live. Akarugi saying, hey, happy to make it today. We are happy to have you here. We got Sokatoa Trigonometry added something new to the name, waving hi, hello, and welcome in. Kimmy is saying happy to have you here. Akaruki says, funny face, that's a wild, biologically impossible claim. Yeah. I mean, I feel like is ways she could have made it happen from the act that they engaged in, but I don't think she did. And if she did what I'm thinking she could have done, that's trifling in itself. And then remember, she wouldn't like take a pregnancy test and stuff too. Like it was just a bunch of weird stuff going on. Kimmy saying, hello, BriHive. Hello, welcome in, member, moderator, consultant, paralegal of the channel. The reason why we are here tonight streaming, shout out to Kimmy. Linda Barnett says, got you, Bri. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Akaruki says, I've always pronounced artifice like artifice, like artificial. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever said that word before today, to tell you the truth. Kimmy Walker says, I don't remember any finding or testimony about who she allegedly slept with. Yeah, I don't remember that. It's been quite a while, almost a year since we covered this. Or has it been a year? June 10th? Was that long ago? It's been over a year. If it was it June 10th? Why did I think we were like, oh no, I thought it was like August. But maybe that was the beginning of the case. No, it was June, huh? Oh my gosh, it's been over a year since this debacle. Akaruki says, did the lawyer do what Amber Heard's counsel failed to do and present a "Your Honor, my client is delusional" defense? No, she was absolutely certain that those things were her, even though she knew it wasn't her. But if she does try to plead, well, no, I did believe that was my belly. I did believe I was pregnant. They're going to have to call her dad in to testify and say, did you ever rub Laura's belly? Oh my gosh. This just gets worse and worse as I think about the type of evidence they're going to have to present in order to prove this case. It gets worse and worse. It gets worse. Okay. Matching birthdays for happiness saying hi, hello, and welcome in. Nice to have you back. Nice to have you back. So those are the 7 charges. Laura be lying. Okay. I don't know. Maybe that's what I should have put on the thumbnail. Laura be lying. Okay. We know she's lying. And she's in jail, or she was in jail, right? Or at least she was arrested for the time being. Anyways, let's go ahead, and I actually need to share my screen again. Stop the screen share. Boom. And then we're going to share the screen again, and we're going to look at this one, and we're going to make sure the audio is on. And yeah, this is what we call live streaming, y'all. Okay. Are we here? There we are. There we are. Boom. This is Laura Owens' arraignment. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear it. I'm going to go ahead and turn it up. I think I'm going to turn it up. Maybe I'm not. Hopefully the volume is up enough. Let's try that. Okay, so y'all let me know if y'all can hear it.
Laura Michelle Owens, 5/14/1990.
Thank you. Counsel, would you please announce?
Yes, thank you, Judge. Matthew Smiley for Joshua Coleswood for the defendant who is present via Teams.
And she's just
Thank
a little
you.
block
Counsel,
on
do
the
we have a
screen.
reading this morning?
I do.
Court will enter.
Nicole Northup on behalf of
I'm getting a chat in the back, so let me see. Sounds good. Okay, sounds good. I think I could also make it a little louder. Let me do, because it seems quiet to me. Okay, I have the boost the volume feature. Okay, there we go. Let's see if this is a little better.
lighter for the state.
I don't think that changed too much.
Thank you.
Oh, no, they did.
This morning, the court will enter pleas of not guilty on behalf of the defendant as to all counts 1 through 7, noting that this is the initial appearance on each of those counts. Court dates will be set as follows. Initial pretrial conference, July 11th at 8:15 with Commissioner Garfinkel. Comprehensive pretrial conference, August 11th at 9 a.m. with Judge Reeder. Final trial management conference, October 16th at 9 a.m. with Judge Reeder. Trial assignment is October 23rd at 9 a.m. before the master calendar assignment judge. Current last day is November 25th. Court needs to set release conditions on these matters, on these counts. I'll hear from the state first.
Judge, she's OR right now, is that correct?
There have been no release conditions set, so she's responding to a summons.
Okay. The state would ask that she be released to pretrial services.
Thank you. Counsel?
Judge, she's responded to the summons. I don't believe she has any prior criminal history. We'd ask for OR release.
Do we believe that she doesn't have prior criminal history?
The defendant will be released on her own recognizance, ma'am. What that is your promise to attend all future court hearings. You don't need to post a bond at this time. However, if you fail to appear for any of your future court hearings, absent good cause, court could issue a bench warrant for your arrest
Zooming in.
and require that you post a bond if you are taken into custody before you can be released. Court will also order that you not initiate any contact with any alleged complainant or witness. You're not to possess any drugs without a valid prescription. Do not drive a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. You're not to leave the state, at least not without permission. You need to continue to provide the court with proof of a local address, continue residing at that address. Looks like you've already taken care of your fingerprints. Counselor, is there anything further from the state,
No, Your Honor, thank you.
from the defense?
No, thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you.
Okay. So she did what we thought she was going to do, right? She's pleaded not guilty. One thing I have to do is say I am happy that we are not seeing green grass as the attorney of record up there. So that at least is a step in the right direction. She actually has a criminal attorney. What I do think is interesting about the way that they did court, I don't know. I think she is in jail at this moment, but I think it's interesting that they have them sign up on Zoom and like they don't have to show their faces. I think that's really interesting because how do you even know who you're talking to? Because Laura actually didn't say anything that I could hear, just her attorney spoke for her. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I don't know if you guys noticed the guy standing in the little corner. He had on his jumpsuit and he was there in person, but I think it's kind of interesting that they just had them kind of on a video call, but no one was really showing their face as we could see when they were zooming in. So she's saying she's not guilty on what was she accused of? We just went over it. She's saying that she's not guilty of basically lying, trying to get child support from Clayton Echard by filing that motion. She's trying to say she's not guilty of doctoring the sonogram, say she's not guilty of testifying that she wasn't intimate with anyone since March 2022. She is saying she's not guilty on testifying that the actual doctored sonogram was her. And then again, testifying that the doctored sonogram was her, testifying that the video was her. And then what was the last one? The last one was she destroyed evidence. So she's basically saying she's not guilty of anything that we talked about. But I think it was pretty clear that a lot of the stuff was doctored and fake, and she knew that, or should have known, right? She knew that it was fake, and she shouldn't have been saying those things that she was saying in order to try to get this man to be her baby daddy. And so I know with this case, it's not necessarily fully baby trapping because she was never pregnant, at least by Clayton Echard, right? She was never pregnant by Clayton Echard. So it's baby trapping, but we're probably leaning more towards the line of paternity fraud because she's trying to say that he is the father of a baby that he is not or two babies. Let's not forget the Thompson twins, that he is the father of two babies that don't actually exist. So I think it's on a thin line of whether it's paternity fraud or baby trapping because technically there was never a baby, but definitely lying to someone and playing with their emotional well-being, telling them that you're pregnant and you're not is absolutely ridiculous. She has to pay Clayton Echard back, I think over $100,000 in attorney's fees. She's facing these criminal charges. I think she's guilty. The next hearing we will see will be in July 11th of 2025. That's this year. So we'll be getting some more information in the next month or so about how this thing is going to be proceeding. I think it's just a status conference and then it goes to August, and then the trial setting is in October, which could mean we're not getting a trial to next year, or it may mean that we get a trial within the next couple of months. I don't know what the Arizona's court docket really looks like to tell y'all if we're going to see it sooner rather than later. And yes, Kimmy, I see that you're starring, so thank you for doing that. So let's go ahead and check out what the comments have to say about her being arraigned. I don't know. I would probably, I guess she's going to say not guilty and then maybe try to work on a plea deal. But I don't, girl, just do your time. They're probably just going to give you probation for being crazy. Let me stop. Okay, so we got Becca Has Thoughts says, now she's blaming newly diagnosed autism. I'm suspicious. I have not seen that, but also that sounds really familiar. Like, was she not already claiming that previously? Becca says they raided her home, but didn't actually arrest her and take her in. I did read the police report on that. It does sound like she is a bit unstable, especially for those of you that didn't watch this case. She was accused of making false claims against other men and telling other men that she was pregnant as well, and then turning around and filing a restraining order on them, right? So this is allegedly a part of her MO. This is what she does. So her being arrested, her calling cops on people, all of the things that's going on with her, I just feel like her life is spiraling at this point. It is spiraling. That's all I can say about it. Let's see. Kimmy Lockett says, could Gringas get in trouble for submitting bogus evidence like the video, or do attorneys not have a duty to confirm the legitimacy of things their clients give them? They should be confirming the legitimacy of them. We have basically a code of ethics that we have to follow, and we are supposed to be officers of the court, so you cannot knowingly submit false evidence to the court. The thing about the way that Gringas wrote his blog, first of all, that was not ethical. We talked about that when that was going on. He just doesn't seem like an ethical person. Like, so even if he knew it was fake, I don't think that he would put himself forward as an officer of the court in making sure that that type of evidence was not presented. And I think a big part of this other evidence going missing might have been by his influence. Now, don't quote me on that. I am just speculating on that. We don't know if that's the issue. But if he knew that that evidence was false, he can't present it in court. And what better way to not present it in court than to make sure it never sees the light of day again? Very interesting. So no, he cannot submit bogus evidence, especially if he knows that it's bogus. His best defense, and if he doesn't get charged and possibly get his license revoked right at this point, is to say that he didn't know that it wasn't accurate. He didn't know that it was real until that day in the court when people started pointing out that she's an Adobe artist and she's able to edit things. I don't know. But no, he cannot knowingly submit false evidence, right? Chicago Girl says, hey, everyone, she's not in jail. No, she was released on bond. I did kind of skip over that part. They released her. So essentially, she is out and about and she can do this again to somebody else, but maybe she'll be a little bit smarter next time. I don't know. But she's out and about. She just has to turn herself in for each of the hearings, the settlement conferences, all of that. If she does not turn herself in, then they can put her back behind bars and then she would have to post bond, but she could be out again. Even if she doesn't show up, she will be out again so long as she can post the bond. But I mean, I don't know what bond she is posting when she owed Clayton hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Linda Burnett says they never actually put her in jail, at least not yet. I thought that that's where they had her for the Zoom call. I could be wrong. Linda says she is releasing her own recognizance. I can't say that word either, so don't judge me, y'all. But yes, she has to show up whenever there's a hearing. If she doesn't show up, then she could be arrested. They can have a bench warrant for her. She can be arrested, and we already seen, if you've seen the police report, how she reacts to getting arrested. And Kimmy did pull the report for me. I did have it, or I don't have a copy of it. I saw it online, but I'm not going to read it because they all just kind of repeat themselves, and I don't know exactly the background of why they were going to go talk to her, why they had a warrant for her actually back in January of this year. So yes, let's see. I know Kimmy was starring chats for me, but I don't see any newer ones starred here. Let's see. Okay, Kimmy's back at it. Thank you very much. Becca Has Thoughts says, breathe. There shouldn't be a next time, but she has a pattern. Hey, there might be next time. They let her out, okay? She is out and about. So the next victim could be in the works for all we know. For all we know, they could be in the works. So hopefully there's no next time. Hopefully she learns from her lesson, but learns a lesson from this, but I highly doubt she will. Yes, laughable. The whole thing is laughable. Okay. Let's go ahead. And if no one has any more questions or thoughts about Laura Owens, I am going to try to keep an eye on this. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, I'm working hard. I'm in court at least 2 times a week, full calendar. So I am trying to stay consistent on the YouTube. It does get hard. Like I said, shout out to Kimmy for helping me pull this stuff. I'm having a hard time with keeping up with Diddy trial. The same witness been on the stand for 5 days. I haven't been able to keep up with it. So there I go. I see Kimmy is impersonating me in the chat again. Oh my gosh. How did you become me that quick, Kimmy? You were just you. Okay. And so they were recommending that Schnitzel Ninja is probably the best way to get them. I can't remember which of Lauren's live streams is the one where she reads them. Yeah, I just saw hers pop up, which I didn't even know about those police reports literally until today when I was just looking stuff up for today. So yeah, I saw them, and then I found like this page that has all the documents for Laura Owens. Like it's called Justice or something about Laura Owens. They put everything that Laura Owens has ever done bad. All the court documents are literally listed on a website for free. So that's good for them. That's nice of them so that we can be nosy and all in her business, right? Oh man. Okay, y'all. So I think we are done with Laura Owens for now. We're going to jump into some Am I the A-hole? So make sure y'all are voting. I think Kimmy is going to help me out. If you're watching on the live stream, we'll put in some polls in the chat so you can vote whether you think that the person writing the story is the A-hole, if someone else is the A-hole, or if everyone sucks, all of the things. And then also make sure you're dropping in the chats, giving your opinions, because I will be reading the chats that are relevant to the stories that we're talking about. Now, the question is, what story am I going to actually cover first? I don't know. Oh, I don't remember if I actually closed out. Yes, I did. We'll be trying to keep up with Laura Owens as much as I can. Hopefully, Kimmy can help me stay on track with that. And then we'll circle back once we get some more information. The arraignment was actually a couple weeks ago, and we're just now covering it today. So thank y'all all for still joining me today. I know it was a while ago, but I thought we should cover it and make sure we're keeping up to date on it closer in time, even if it's not right when everything is happening. So now, let me go ahead and jump into the Reddit stories of some other baby trapping situations. I'm sorry, y'all. I've been all over the place today because your girl is tired. Okay. These people were in trial just arguing back and forth and back and forth. I'm just like, the judge doesn't care about any of this. They don't care. They don't care. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into, am I the a-hole for not wanting to donate sperm to my sterile identical twin brother's wife? Now, off top, it does seem like a bit of a-holeness because you guys are identical twins. It's not, I mean, I guess it is necessarily your baby, but also it's genetically his baby too. This is from 6 years ago, y'all. So I wonder if he ever got an answer on this. So am I the a-hole for not wanting to donate sperm to my sterile identical twin brother's wife? My brother, who I have a very strong bond and good relationship with, has been trying for years to get his wife pregnant, all to no avail. It's believed that he's sterile, and this saddens him and me very greatly. A while ago, they accepted that he is unlikely to ever have biological children and began looking for sperm donors. But just recently, they posed a new unconventional idea to me that I be the donor. Asking your brother to donate sperm for you might be an odd or even inappropriate request in most circumstances, but ours is a unique one. We are identical twins. We share 100% identical DNA, and thus any child born of my sperm would be related to my brother every bit as much as my own child from my own sperm would. How many times can we say sperm in one sentence? This would not be the case with regular brothers, where the baby would be related as a nephew/niece to him. And because of this, the child wouldn't find out about the donation from one of those home DNA tests. So many people are so many people are taking now. My brother and I both would show up as the father on a DNA test because of our identical DNA. My brother views having an identical twin as a great stroke of luck in this situation and an opportunity to be able to have his own children after all. Despite his enthusiasm, I'm not sure about the whole thing. I haven't officially declined. I just told him that I'll think about it. I'm married and just think the whole thing seems a bit weird and off. Am I the a-hole for not thinking about my brother's needs? First and foremost, update. Oh, let's save the update. So I'm going to let y'all come in with your comments. I just saw it. Can you post it in the chat? Oh my God. I didn't even catch that. So do you think that this guy is the a-hole for not giving his twin brother his sperm? So bad. I thought this would be a good idea to read, but I didn't know how many times they freaking said sperm in it, okay? Oh my gosh. But you can say tonsil twins breed. You can't say sperm. Okay. Anyways, Kimmy put up a poll in the chat. If you have thoughts on this and you want to vote, go ahead and drop it in the poll. And then I will also go through comments if you're dropping them in the chat. So let me go ahead and see the update. Let's see what the update says, and then we'll get into the comments. And the update is, thanks everyone for sharing your thoughts. I've thought things over a lot the past day and have decided I am going to go through with the sperm donation after all and allow my brother to have a child. Now, good for him. Overall, he wasn't the a-hole at the end of the day. Now, I thought this story was going to take a completely different turn. I thought that they were going to ask him for the sperm and like ask him to actually, you know, deposit it into the wife versus going the actual clean and medically acceptable way to do it without hooking up with your sister-in-law. I thought they were going to go oh, well, we're the same. Just go have at it, bro. That's inappropriate for you. I'm sorry. Okay, let's see what the chat has to say. Someone says, nah, your body, your choice. Good. I didn't know that was like a line 6 years ago, but apparently it was. Would it be insanely convenient? Sure, but that doesn't mean you have to do anything you don't want to. Someone responded and said, nah, but he'd be a hero to his brother if he went through. Exactly. He would be a hero to his brother. He would have helped him accomplish something that he always wanted to accomplish. Now, my thing is like that knowing deep in the back of your head that, yes, I gave them sperm, but maybe, no, that sounds bad. I was going to say maybe they can like do 2 deposits and one is like from the brother and the other one is from the OP. And then that way they don't know which sperm, like maybe this lucky time, the twin brother sperm is the one that actually implanted the egg. Maybe that might help. I don't know. But I can definitely understand him knowing in the back of his head of him being the father. And I would honestly, like selfishly, I probably wouldn't want my husband to give his sperm to his siblings. Like, but with it being identical, it's going to be related to you like it's your child anyways. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Y'all let me know. Make sure y'all are voting in the poll. Someone says, sure, but brother has other options. He will never father a child regardless of OP. And OP doesn't have to let his brother live vicariously through his sperm. What is wrong with people? It's not vicariously through a sperm. He says, I hope everyone takes it well because OP deserves no judgment no matter what they choose. I'm kind of back and forth. I'm kind of back and forth on it. Y'all let me know what you think. Someone says, okay, but if you're denying your brother a chance to have a child that is still the same % of his DNA as any of his normal children because of unidentified awkward feelings, that's kind of sad. For a lot of people, part of the magic of having a child is passing on their DNA and seeing how it presents throughout their life. This is a decision that OP should be very, very, very sure of because I wouldn't blame his brother at all if he changes how he sees OP. I can see that too, of it kind of causing a problem. You guys have been these twins, you're very close, and he can't even help you out with a baby. It sounds crazy, but you know, it's I think it's also different because it's not like he is the woman and he has to carry the baby. He's literally just handing his sperm off. As bad as it sounds, he's literally just handing the sperm off. So it's not as big of a deal if it was like the woman and she was donating her egg and then also being a surrogate, right? Sisters will be surrogates, no questions asked a lot of the times, but this twin brother can't give a couple of his, y'all know. I was going to say some things that probably wouldn't be okay for the stream. Yes, Kimmy, handing off sperm. I don't know if this was the best story to start with because I feel like I'm being very inappropriate. Okay, Kimmy Lucas says, stroke of luck is interesting wording for the situation. It was. It really was interesting wording. I didn't even catch on to it until you put it there. Becca has thoughts, says twins have a different kind of bond. I agree. And the fact that it's like, it will be biologically the same whether he had the kid or you had the kid. And like I said, not to be, introducing too many bodily fluids into this man's wife, but maybe they could kind of mix it all up. No, don't mix it up. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going to move on from my thought. Because this is going downhill quickly. Very quickly, very quickly. Okay. Kimmy Logan says, I can see where OP is coming from, but slightly lean towards a-hole because if you can help your brother out, why wouldn't you? And you could, like I said, just hand it off, Kimmy. Just hand it off. Q says, handing off the sperm. The swimmers, yeah. You can just... Yeah, I'm gonna be done because my brain keeps thinking of things to say, and I'm like, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right. So I'm gonna be done with this story. Let's see what the chat has to say. The chat says, am I the a-hole for not wanting to donate sperm to my sterile identical twin brother's wife? 29% says yes, OP is the a-hole. If I'm assuming if he didn't do it, but it sounds like he ultimately decided to do it. 25% says no, someone else is the a-hole. Who's the a-hole? 38% says no, nobody is the a-hole because he, his body, his choice. I think the first comment said that. And 12% says yes, everyone is an a-hole here. The brother for asking, the wife for wanting a baby, right? But the thing about it is OP is also married, so that could cause some friction. I wonder what his wife actually thinks about it. But yeah, thank y'all for voting on that. We're gonna go ahead and jump into the next baby trapping. Similar, that one wasn't a baby trap. It was just like, what should I do with my sperm kind of thing. Justin for Clayton says, welcome back. Laura Owens is nuts. Welcome in. We are now talking about Reddit stories that have kind of a similar theme to what Laura Owens has going on here. So welcome in, Justice for Clayton. Let's go ahead and jump into the next. Like I said, this one is not necessarily baby trapping, but like I said, Laura Owens' situation wasn't necessarily baby trapping either. It was just like on that verge because the baby never existed, right? And in this situation, it's him trying to make a baby for his brother, which sounds crazy, but it's possible. It's possible. Help a brother out, literally. Help him out. Okay, so next one we have is, am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend, 25 female, that I, 27 male, would want a paternity test if I ever got her pregnant? Now, sounds reasonable. Sounds reasonable. So I want y'all to vote on the poll. I feel like anytime I say poll, it automatically makes me go inappropriate kind of polls. I guess it's not inappropriate to have that kind of poll. But anyways, go ahead and vote in the poll what you think, whether he is an a-hole for asking his girlfriend for a pregnancy test. Now, I actually made a post about this on TikTok a couple weeks back, and people have strong opinions about whether men should get paternity tests for the kid when you're not married, or even when you're married. Should paternity tests be mandatory for the men? Like for us women, we know that the baby came out of us. So long as they don't mix your baby up and switch them at birth, you know that the child is yours. Should men have the same certainty about their child by having a DNA test now that we have them? Y'all let me know in the comments. So this guy says, am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend I would want a paternity test if I ever got her pregnant? I've dated Britt for 4 years and things are getting incredibly serious. We're at a point where we are talking about marriage. A while ago, we were talking about good we were talking about kids. The good news is that me and her both want kids one day. I decided when I was a teenager that no matter what, if I got a woman pregnant, I would get a paternity test before I signed anything saying I was the father. I told my girlfriend this, and she was absolutely pissed. My girlfriend accused me of not trusting her, and I assured her that wasn't true. That wasn't the issue. That being said, I think I might have some issues. That being said, I think I might have some issues revolving this. I am not my father's biological child. I am the child of my mom and a boyfriend she was with for a year. My mom eventually broke it off with him. She was unknowingly pregnant, and when she found out, it had been nearly a month since she had seen him, so she assumed I was my dad's. I came out half black, and my mom confessed. That is an interesting way to put it. But honestly, it sounds like your dad stayed around anyways, whether you was half black or not. I'm gonna assume that maybe the mom is whiter and the dad or the stepdad is white too, and maybe that's why he had to say I came out half black. There was no hiding that one. So your mom's own betrayal made you this way. But it really wasn't a betrayal. She was basically pregnant before she met your dad. But why was she sleeping with your dad that soon after me? No judgment here, okay? She was having a hot girl summer, I guess. She says, I came out half black, and my mom confessed. I didn't even know this story because my parents lied about my mom having black grandparents until I was 13, and I put two and two together. You never noticed that your grandparents weren't black? This story is more funny than I expected it to be. Britt knows that I'm a product of infidelity. Oh, so she was cheating with the man. Oh, I gotta go back after this. So okay, let's get through this. Britt knows that I'm a product of infidelity and knows I have some trauma from it. So I thought she'd be understanding, but no, she wasn't. But no, this person cannot spell. They spelled no like in K-N-O-W instead of no. She was not N-O. She was not. Whatever. She said that if I didn't trust her to not be a whore, that maybe we need to rethink our relationship. I told Britt that it wasn't about me distrusting her, that I thought it'd be a good idea for anyone. I said that everyone that gets cheated on trusts their partner, and that people that think their partners are going to cheat on them in the relationship. She argued that if I wanted a pregnancy test, that literally means I have doubts that the baby is mine. I said that as a man, I really don't have much of a way to know if a baby that she gives birth to is mine or not, and that it doesn't hurt to see it written out. She said she didn't want to talk about it for a while and said she needed to think about our relationship since there's lacking trust of one another. She's still pretty sore at me about this. I spoke to my older sister about this, and she called me a bad word for saying what I did. A male body part, she called him, starting with a D and ending with a K. Okay, that's what his sister called him. So let me go back to how it happened. Let me see. She said, my mom. Okay, here we go. I am not my father's biological child. I am the child of my mom and a boyfriend she was with for a year. My mom eventually broke it off with him. She was unknowingly pregnant when she found out. It had been nearly a month since she had seen him, so she assumed it was my dad's. That's not infidelity, though. It sounds like she was dating a guy, she broke up with him, got with your dad, was hooching around, we'll call it hooching around, slept with your dad pretty soon after, and she got pregnant. You better be lucky that your dad stayed around, because how are you going to come to a man pregnant? I mean, people date pregnant women all the time. I don't know. How did they not put the timelines together? So maybe it was infidelity and she was sleeping around with multiple people, but it sounds like she was with the other guy for a year. I don't know. The story, there's a lot of typos in it, so maybe they missed something. I don't know. But anyways, y'all let me know what y'all think about this story. I'm going to say not the a-hole. The overall vote on this on Reddit was the a-hole. So let me know what y'all think. Make sure y'all are voting on the poll. Let me see about comments here. Someone says, I sympathize with you for everything revolving around your paternity with your parents, but taking that out on your girlfriend and accusing her of being unfaithful because your mom is bad. Is it going to end with the paternity? Because every time I've read about men asking this, it's the start of a never-ending process. If my partner pulled this, I would be super hesitant to have children with someone who is so dismissive of me and our child and putting this entire huge thing ahead of our child's well-being. I would seek therapy to deal with the grief you haven't healed from to be in the best state for your girlfriend and children. Someone says, total agreement. This is a real issue for you, not the usual possessive jealousy behind similar requests, but it's an issue that is your responsibility to deal with, not your girlfriend's burden to endure. Your relationship will not benefit from her catering to your anxiety, so tackle that anxiety head on via therapy. Someone says, that being said, I think I might have some issues revolving around this. This is clear, especially since I decided when I was a teenager that no matter what, if I got a woman pregnant, I would get a paternity test before I sign anything. Teenagers are not the world's best decision makers. Do not cling to things you decided that were born of trauma as a child. Work through your issues instead, since you're aware you have them. I don't know, y'all. Do y'all agree with this? Should a man not ask his girlfriend or wife for a paternity test? I've talked about my position on this channel before about the asking for the paternity test. And for those of you who do not know, I am a family law lawyer, and I tell people always get a paternity test. Always. That's my position, is you always get a paternity test. Now, I say that in family law court. If my husband were to ask me for a paternity test, I would give it to him. But I would expect lovely gifts and presents and everything for the next, I don't know how long. I have a price that I need my push present to be. And if you decide that you want a paternity test, that price goes up. That price goes up. So y'all let me know what y'all think about getting paternity tests. So let me know. Kimmy is letting me know that YouTube is giving her problems with posting comments. I don't know if y'all could even let me know if that's happening to y'all too. But if you are not able to send a chat, it's probably YouTube attacking you. Sorry. And I don't think I'm redlined or anything like that at this point, because I know I've said sperm multiple times on this and tonsil twins and all kinds of things that are probably inappropriate for YouTube. But here we are. Again, y'all, if you're watching live, I haven't said this all stream. If you're watching live and you made it this far and you haven't hit the like button, please do. It does help us out. We got quite a lot of friends in here today, so I would really appreciate a hit to the like button for sure. And make sure you guys are voting in the poll, letting me know whether this guy is an a-hole for saying that he would get a paternity test. And it sounds like this is just a core value of his. He's not just going to be anybody's daddy. Okay, Bree, let's get into the comments. Let me see where we were at. Hi, Teresa. Welcome in. Nice to have you back. We got Akaruki saying, I think it's better to be upfront with your issues rather than silently doubt your family for the rest of your life. I agree. And he's telling her before they have kids. So if she is not in agreement with it, she can dip. If you don't want him to have certainty, I don't know. It's almost like you want that backup plan so that you can go and have your baby with somebody else. I don't know. Autumn, welcome back in. Nice to have you. We got Autumn saying, Emily D. Baker and lawyer, had issues with YouTube stream yard today. Okay, with the comments and everything. So hopefully that resolves itself. It looks like comments are still coming in. Akaruki says, I hope I'm saying your name right. If they had started this discussion after a positive pregnancy test, then different feelings. But having this talk before any positive pregnancy test is fair. I agree. Absolutely. He's putting it out on the table. Now, he did wait 4 years to bring it up. I feel like that should have been something to come up earlier in the relationship, but also I know they're 25 and 27, so they could have talked about this earlier in the relationship, but I think it's better late than after the positive pregnancy test. I definitely agree with you there. Becca Has Thought says, I think whoever he's supposed to be with would be understanding of the situation. Healing of trauma also requires the support of your partner. Definitely agree. Definitely agree on that. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get rid of this. Stop sharing screen. Okay, there we go. It's gone now. And I hope I didn't kick Kimmy out because I don't see her back here anymore. Anyways, let's go on. Yeah, you have to be supportive of your partner. And for me, I'll let you have it because I'm going to prove you wrong. So you're going to get me a bigger present. How about that? Because you're being mean to me. It's okay. Like your feelings are going to be hurt for a little while, but it is what it is, you know? And people are saying that, oh, you're not putting your child's well-being before yours. That kid is not going to know they were ever swabbed unless you told them that they were swabbed. They will never know. Okay. Adam says it kept eating them. And I think issues with comments too. Mine, I'm not having a problem with StreamYard. I think it's more of her comments in YouTube. Says all pronunciations are fine with me. That's how I am. Although my name should be simple, people say it all kinds of ways. I'll just be like, whatever. So long as you're not calling me a bad name, I really don't care. I really don't care. So let's go ahead and check out what the poll says. I would be offended kind of because it's like I'm such a loyal person. Like you should never think that about me. But also I think that a man should have certainty just like I will have certainty because my husband plans to follow that baby around the hospital when I am in the bed and I can't follow the baby around. So we'll know that the baby is mine, right? And I mean, I guess look wise, you can say you know that the baby is yours. But I mean, how many people of the same ethnicity look the same, right? So you never know. You might just, his was obvious because he came out as a black baby and it sounds like the parents maybe have been white or something. So they clearly could tell that, hey, one of these are not like the other, okay? Talk about you have black grandparents and you never saw those black grandparents. So I think that a man deserves to know. Yes, I would like for my husband to be confident in the fact that it is his child, not even think that I would do something like that. But also he deserves to know. And also I deserve a bigger push present. That's just my opinion. I deserve a bigger push present at that point. The poll says, am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend that I would want a paternity test if I ever got her pregnant? 30% says yes, OP is the a-hole. Really? 10% says no, someone else is the a-hole. 60% says no, nobody is the a-hole, and 0% says yes, everyone's the a-hole. So I think people are pretty much in the same sphere. And Kimmy, I had already went over these comments. I know you disappeared for a little bit. So I went over those ones already. So that's why I just unstarted them. But anyways, yeah. So we got some people that think that OP is the a-hole. A good variety of answers, right? I would say no one's the a-hole here because she's entitled to feel offended. I think it's something you can get over, honestly. Like if you really think, if you put yourself in the other person's shoes, I think it's something that you could get over. But yeah, I would say no one's the a-hole. She's entitled to her feelings. He's entitled to his position, and they can go separate ways. They're so young. She's 25, he's 27. They're so young. They can go separate ways. It is what it is, you know? Autumn says there was a story about someone getting a paternity test and it said no, but then turns out she also wasn't the mother. Yes, I've seen that too. That was insane. And it was because they swapped their baby at birth, right? That's like you gotta follow that baby around the hospital. Oh my gosh. Akiriki says, so a baby swap. I think that one was the one that I saw at least was a baby swap at the hospital. And then when they found out, they didn't give each other the baby back. They just kept the babies that wasn't their baby. So because they had already bonded with the child. They didn't even give the baby back. So it was interesting. Autumn says yes, and they could never find out what happened to their biological baby. I saw one where they did find out about him, and they just kept the opposite baby. Like they didn't go. They weren't like, oh, I want my biological one back. They're like, I'm just gonna keep this one because I've grown this one, and people know this one to be my child. I can't just come back home with another random 3-year-old and be like, well, actually, this was little Hannah. Like you can't do that. So I don't know. I feel like there's been a lot of stories like that. So there we have that story. So let's jump into the next one. And I feel like I'm being long-winded today. So I need to get my life together, y'all. Need to get the life together. Okay. So, am I the a-hole for privately asking my friend about the paternity of her children? Why is that your business? Why do you want to know the paternity of your friend's children? Unless you think it's your children. I don't know. So, am I the a-hole for privately asking my friend about the paternity of her children? Make sure y'all are voting in the poll on YouTube Live. Someone says, saw another post that reminded me of this situation. A few years ago, my close childhood friend gave birth to triplets. Her husband is a light black man. Of the three, two were the same tone as her husband, and the third was much darker. The skin tones made me a little suspicious that her husband might not be the father. They're triplets. What do you think happened here? What do you think happened here, ma'am? Okay, let's go on. I pulled her aside privately and asked her seriously if her husband was the father. She didn't even listen or answer rationally. She just freaked out at me and acted super insulted and kicked me out, as you should have got kicked out. I reached out to her husband and told him about her reaction and told him he should get a paternity test, and he called me an a-hole and blocked me. Neither has spoken to me since. Girl, get a grip. I've always thought that they dramatically overreacted and were probably hiding something because of their responses, but they're still married, and sometimes I feel bad about what happened. I just felt a lot of empathy for her husband because I would be devastated if I wasn't confident that I was the father of my future children. Was I an a-hole for asking privately? Oh, so this sounds like it's actually a guy, not a woman. I thought this was going to be a woman. Edit, he says, okay, I get I'm an a-hole. I want to make clear that I didn't think the triplets had different fathers. I'm not an idiot. I thought it was possible, given the skin tones of the third triplet, that all three were fathered by a darker man, and the first two were a bit lighter because my friend was fair. So your thought is that, oh, to have 2 light skin and 1 dark skin, bad, but 2 dark skin and 1 light skin, okay. Like, what? Black people make all different shades of people. That's insane. At least we know that he didn't think that all 3 kids had different fathers. I'm like, what do you think happened here, sir? What do you think happened? Let's see some of Reddit comments and then we'll go ahead. This was 6 years ago too, y'all. Dude, genetics, one of his parents likely has a darker skin tone and that came through in the grandchild. Not uncommon, super normal. You are a flaming a-hole for this. I cannot give a bigger, you're the a-hole, all caps. Agreed, as someone who is balding and has a father with a full head of hair, we sometimes get traits from our grandparents as well. It all depends on what's passed down. Someone says expansion apparatus, stupendous, relieved boat, gray squash, slap, butter, onerous. I don't know what that means. Someone said I think baldness passes down through the mother. I think so too. That's what I learned in science class, at least. The baldness passes down. You look at your grandpa on your mom's side. What does his hair look like? That's probably what your son's hair is going to look like. Okay. Someone says, this reminds me of a comment where the father thought that the mother cheated on him when their baby was born. They are both black and the baby was white when it was born. It turned out that the baby was albino. That's an interesting story. This says, if someone knows the link to the comment, please post it. Someone says not only to ask your friend privately, but then to bring it up to the husband because the friend was rightfully pissed. Holy man, what a dick move. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Black people make all kinds of colored people, okay? All me and my siblings are all different tones, and we have the 2 same parents. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what to say here. I don't know what to say here. And they're triplets. Just if it was a darker man that made two light babies, you understand that concept, but you can't fathom two light skinned people having a darker baby. It doesn't make any sense. Does not make any sense. Okay. Let's see what the chat has to say. Becca has thoughts, says that can actually happen with twin, triplets, etc. There can be multiple fathers. Yeah, if multiple eggs are released. Yep, there can be different fathers. But are you calling your friend a skank and that she's sleeping around with multiple people at one time? I'm like, what if they did IVF too? Like, you don't even know what struggles they had to get pregnant and to have twins, right? Oh my gosh, this guy. Kimmy Locker says, yes, OP is definitely the a-hole. If you don't understand how genetics works, just say that. Exactly. Or just be quiet, okay? He should have just kept his mouth shut. Akaruki says, oh man, that was not the time or place to ask that question. Maybe never, ever. And want to be surprised why he got kicked out. Essie says, OP has a brain. He has a brain understanding. He has a basic understanding. It has no basic understanding of genetics. That's what it sounds like at this point. Autumn says, well, and going and trying to tell a man his kids aren't his could be dangerous, right? Exactly. And you know what? Maybe he got a DNA test at the birth of his children, like people should do. Okay? I said people should do it, but I know I would be mad if my husband asked, but I'm just going to get a bigger present. That's it. Destined to Be says he's uneducated. He's an uneducated a-hole. Yes. Welcome back, Destined to Be. Nice to have you in tonight. We got Dysfunctional Crayon saying a lot of people who didn't study genetics past Punnett squares have big opinions. I learned the balding thing in Punnett square class, that biology level. That's funny. That was a good one. Let's see. Tanya watching on TV tonight. That's cool. I don't want to be that big on your screen. That scares me. Okay, Becca has thoughts, says OP is still the a-hole. I agree. Autumn says, I think OP argues with someone about IVF and admits the friend. I think OP argues with someone about IVF and admits the friend told him when they started trying. So it was like, so you know they wanted some, started trying and then got pregnant. I don't know if I all the way understand that. I don't know if it's me or I don't know if I can't read. Dysfunctional Crown says, haha, I wasn't trying to come for you. No, I didn't think so. It was just like, hey, that's where I learned about that. But no, and he could have been in Punnett Square class, not Punnett Square class, but he could have been in that class and just not paying attention to genetics. But yeah, they could have been doing IVF. Like, you don't even know what they could have had eggs donated. We don't know, or sperm donated, like the first story we just read. Autumn says, it was me. They knew they were trying. Yes. Okay. Wanted some kids, not just wanted some. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. And then like some people, when they're having hard times getting pregnant, they give them prescriptions to, it might release multiple eggs. Are you saying she was like sleeping with her husband and sleeping with some other man? I don't know. That's mean. That's mean. You had to know they were trying for a baby. Okay, y'all. Let's jump. Oh, the poll. Am I the a-hole for privately asking my friend about the paternity of her children? I did not think that's how that story was going to go. So that was a good one. 73%, we are all on the same accord saying that, yes, OP is the a-hole. 18% says no, someone else is the a-hole. Who? Someone says no, nobody is the a-hole. He had serious concerns, okay? He had a right to ask, guys. And then 0% says yes, everyone is the a-hole. No one said that, okay? So at least we are on the same page on that one. Adam says, oh, and that's a lie too, because it wasn't private once you asked the dad. Yeah, exactly. You asked her, and then when she didn't give you the answer you wanted, you went to him and was like, hey, are you the dad, bro? Like, that's so messed up. Dysfunctional Crayon says the triplets actually suggest a higher likelihood that they were doing some kind of fertility treatment. It makes multiples more common. That's what I was thinking of too. and maybe had some implanted. And like I said, maybe they had donated embryos. You don't know what people are going through unless they tell you. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. We got two more. They are this one. No, they're not too long. So we are almost done here. And your girl gonna be sleeping. Okay, so am I the a-hole for insinuating that my brother has a pregnancy bump fetish? Weird. These are more like just about pregnancy, not baby trapping, but I know it's hard to find baby trapping stories. So am I the a-hole for insinuating that my brother has a pregnancy bump fetish? Make sure y'all are voted in the poll and also dropping your comments what you think. They go on to say my girlfriend Tiana and I are my girlfriend Tiana and I are expecting our first child in 2 months. Despite being 7 months along, Tiana barely looks pregnant. She doesn't have much of a visible baby bump, and many don't assume that she's pregnant, let alone that she's expecting very soon. My family is not fond of Tiana. When we first announced that we were having a child, their first reaction was to accuse Tiana of baby trapping me. Hey, baby trapping, there we are, or manipulating me. Since then, I've only spoken to them when necessary. My mom invited Tiana and I for my grandmother's 80th birthday. It was going to be a huge event with most, if not all, of my family in attendance. I was very hesitant to go, but Tiana said that we could go for a few hours just to see how everyone is doing and then leave once we got tired. When we got there, Tiana's pregnancy was the topic of the day, which I expected, but my mom and my brother kept constantly bringing up her lack of bump. According to them, Tiana was lying to everyone about her pregnancy for money and attention. Jeez. While everyone else seemed happy for us, my brother was snickering in the corner about how she definitely isn't pregnant. It got very annoying very quickly. I can understand that. Every opportunity he got, my brother would mention how Tiana was playing me or accusing her of not eating enough intentionally in order to not grow a bump. I don't think that's how that works. Some family members were laughing, but some of them seemed to be over my brother's constant comments. After each comment, I had to tell him to shut up and focus on his own life, but my mom would always defend him and was willing to start a big scene, which Tiana advised me against. Tiana was a little unbothered, so we decided to stay for food and then leave. As we were sitting down to eat, my brother made a joke about inducing labor to check if she's really pregnant. Oh, that's a dangerous game. Tiana looked shocked, and I think most people were stunned by his joke. Instead of getting mad, I said, I understand that you have a weird thing for pregnant women, but I'm eating, and I don't want to hear about your fetish. That was a good way to put it. He seemed to get very annoyed by that and stormed off and locked himself in a bedroom somewhere. I left before he came back, but everyone, my mom and a few family members, told me that my comment was extremely inappropriate at a family gathering and I should apologize to him. No. Don't apologize to him. I think that was a good way to put it. Leave me alone. What do you got, a bump fetish, weirdo? Yeah, and now he feels dumb and he's hiding in the closet because he probably does have a bump fetish, okay? Comment says, not the a-hole. Tell them you'll apologize to your brother after he and all of your other relatives apologize for all the verbal abuse they made towards your girlfriend. Also, it's time to upgrade from LC straight up to NC. I don't know what that means. Someone says, the OP says, I know my brother and my mom will not be in my child's life no matter how hard they protest. Someone says, what child? They clearly don't believe she's pregnant. not she's Laura Owens faking a pregnancy, right? What child? They clearly don't believe she's pregnant, so they won't have a problem with not seeing the child that doesn't exist anyway. Someone says, zing. Yeah. They don't think they exist. So what are we talking about here? Why do you even care what we're doing with my invisible bump? Invisible baby tonsil twins. Tonsils is okay. Thank you. I did not know. LC limited contact, NC no contact. Love that. Thank you for that. Adam says, OMG, if it's your first, it takes, excuse me. OMG, if it's your first, it takes longer. And I know some women who never have any kind of bump. Lucky. Well, no, I think people like having bumps. But it doesn't seem like Tiana's bothered by it. So why are they bothered by it? Akaruki says, Tiana sounds completely over the in-laws. And she is keeping her cool. She better than me because I probably would have left already. I probably would have left. or there would have been food on somebody's face. I don't know. 80th party would have been over for grandma, okay? Dysfunctional Crayon says, this guy has never seen, I didn't know I was pregnant. Bodies do weird things. Absolutely, that is true. Some people have hidden pregnancies. Autumn says, he joked about putting the girlfriend and his baby in danger. Yeah. Inducing labor sounds like a dangerous game, in my opinion. Because how do you induce labor without causing harm for someone that is 7 months pregnant? Come on, dude. Kimmy says, so the brother can insult OP's girlfriend in the form of a joke, but he can't say something back. Nah, good for OP. His brother and the rest of the family are being a-holes. And the thing about it is the way he said it wasn't even mean. That wasn't mean. I think that was a good comeback. Right? Destined to be, it sounds like they're prudes because they didn't want to hear the word fetish, right? But he can induce her labor. Yeah, right. Get out of here. Destined to be says, the fact that the brother locked himself in a room says a lot about him. Very childish. The fact that he wouldn't leave him alone, childish. Yeah, the brother is the problem here. So let's see what the poll has to say. We got, am I the a-hole for insinuating that my brother has a pregnancy bump fetish? And the answers, 30% says yes, OP is the a-hole. I thought it was a good comeback. 60% says no, someone else is the a-hole. I'm thinking the brother and the mother and the rest of the family that joined in. And then 0% says no one's the a-hole. And then 10% says yes, everyone's the a-hole. Everyone is being immature here. I'm more on OP side. I am more on OP side. Adam says jokes on everyone. Exactly. Since we want to be jokey, hee hee ha ha funny, let's do it. Kimmy Locker says, don't start none, won't be none. Exactly. Exactly. Gotham is agreeing. So thank y'all for voting on that one. And we got one last Reddit story. So let's see with our pregnancy themed stories. I might have to put the little Reddit man on the thumbnail. Okay, y'all. Tanya says, I said yes, but I meant to choose the second option. It's okay. It happens to the best of us, okay? Okay, last one, y'all. Am I the a-hole for getting pregnant by my brother-in-law in revenge for my husband having a year-long affair with my sister? Y'all just passing around the sibling genes. Like, okay. The twin was hesitant about donating sperm, but you're getting donated sperm from your husband's brother. Make sure y'all are voting in the chat to let us know what your thoughts are. But off the title, it sounds unhinged. This is from 10 months ago, so she's probably still pregnant, okay? So am I the a-hole for getting pregnant by my brother-in-law in revenge for my husband having a year-long affair with my sister? Now, this is intense for me. I don't really know how to word it, but I'll try. I was trying for years to get pregnant. Finally, it worked. When I first found out I was pregnant, I was overjoyed. So was my husband. It was supposed to be a time of celebration and excitement for the new life we were bringing into the world. But as my pregnancy progressed, I noticed my husband growing more distant. I tried to brush it off, telling myself it was just stress or nerves about becoming a parent. But deep down, I knew something was wrong. Then my world shattered. I discovered my husband had been having an affair with my sister for nearly a year. The betrayal was like a knife to my heart, cutting deep into the very fabric of my being. The two people I trusted the most had been lying to me, deceiving me, all while I carried our child. I felt broken, lost, and humiliated. But in the darkest moments, I found a strange sense of clarity. I realized that I couldn't change what they'd done, but I could take back control in my own way. 7 weeks after giving birth to my husband baby, still reeling from the pain and betrayal, I did something I never thought I would do. I slept with my husband's brother. It wasn't about love or even lust. It was about reclaiming some power in a situation where I had felt utterly powerless. Girl, you just had a gaping hole in you from giving birth to a baby and you going and sleeping with this man's brother. You don't even know if he has cooties. I don't like that. I guess she's trying to be empowered, but I thought you were going to be like, y'all didn't have a baby and then you had a baby with a brother. But 7 weeks, like just past the window of not doing adult activities, you sleep. I don't know if I can get behind her on this one, but let's keep going. It was my way of saying that I wouldn't just sit back and let my life be destroyed without fighting back. Now I'm pregnant again, but this time with his brother's child. The situation is complicated, messy, and filled with more pain than I could have ever imagined. But in a strange way, it has given me a sense of closure. My husband and sister betrayed me in the worst way possible. And while my actions might not have been right, they were my way of coping, of finding a way to heal and move forward. This chapter is one I never expected to write, but it's my story and it's the path I chose in the aftermath of betrayal. So you're going to have nephew sons. You got nephew sons and your son's going to be brother cousins. At least they got to go to the same family houses for holidays, I guess. What are we doing? I thought that this story was gonna go. Her husband cheated, so she cheated with the brother, and then she got pregnant. One child. Not that you gave birth to a child, and 6 weeks later, instead of breastfeeding your baby, you're sleeping with your child's uncle. I don't think I can get behind that one. But let's see what the people say. I would have gone for the first story. My original thought of what I thought the story would be, I would have gone for that. But this one, I don't know if I can get jiggy with this one. Someone says the chapter could have used a beta reader. Yeah, somebody should have talked to you before this, right? 7 weeks? Man. Someone says, having a hard time believing this. Too bad Jerry Springer's show isn't still around. This sounds like a dumpster fire. If this is real, I feel bad for your children. Right. Yeah, let's think about the kids, the brother cousins at this time. Someone says, info, as you effed your brother-in-law, did you use whips and chains? What does that mean? She says, no, why? Is that some sort of joke? If so, it's gone right over my head. She said, this is in your profile. I'm an experienced fidom, a specialized in humiliation. Oh, okay. So whoever wrote this, apparently in their bio, they talk about being kind of like a dominatrix type of person. Someone is saying clearly fake. I'm leaning towards maybe this story is fake. Someone says, I'll tell you what it might sound. I'll tell you what it might sound fake, but let me tell you about my little story. I had an affair with my birthday. I'm not reading that one. I don't even know what that means. Yeah, so it sounds like this person is into humiliation and things like that from just their bio. I don't know. It does say it was a throwaway account. Someone says your family is sick. All of you must go to a therapist. She says, OP says, my family. Do you know my family? I only mention my sister and husband. Brother-in-law is not my family. Either say something useful or helpful or F off. Okay. All right. We're done with Reddit comments. Let's see what BriHive has to say, assuming that the story is actually true. Okay. Adam says, yeah. I was like, oh gosh, dysfunctional crayon says the family tree is wreath. Brother cousins for all, okay? And then imagine her sister has a baby with her husband. It's just too much. It's too much. Adam says, so everyone is sibling cousins. Yep, exactly. Adam says the friends' cousins have the same. My friends' cousins have the same baby daddy, so they are siblings and cousins. How? Why? Well, at least those were cousins. That makes it a little bit better. No, it doesn't. Because these ones are both siblings. They're like super related, those kids. Oh my gosh. Autumn says their kids are going to have a complex, basically, relationship, I'm sure. Akiruki says, well, the one bright spot is that the incest happens in the next generation. It wouldn't be unknowingly. Oh, I hope not. I hope this doesn't continue. Don't encourage that. Autumn says it's so dangerous to be pregnant so quick. Yes, like why are you doing that? You don't know what that man had going on. Like there had to be some type of buildup, and instead of you taking care of your baby at 7 weeks, you're hooching it around. You're hooching around, okay? Oh my gosh. I'm with Tanya or Desmond B saying this is too much. It's too much. As he says, I meant to choose everyone as the a-hole. My bad. Everyone just nasty. They just nasty. Autumn says maybe it's a fake story. That's what I'm leaning towards because and there's no way, but there's also a way. Like people are crazy. Kimmy Locker says it is so wild to me the situations that can lead to creating a whole nother life. Yes. Yes, like I said, at least she can drop them off at their grandma and grandpa house, which is bad. That's bad for the kids. My uncle is your dad. Your dad is my uncle. Yes, family tree is messed up. Autumn says no. They started fighting over this man, and then he went to jail. Oh gosh, that's the worst. That is the worst. What I hate to see is like people going back to having kids with the same person that didn't take care of your first set of kids. Like, why are we going back? Okay. Kimmy says, even if OP made up the story, it's happened somewhere in the world. Agreed. This is probably not a fake story to somebody, but I think it might be a fake story. Maybe they're telling someone else's story. I don't know. Autumn says the cousin, baby, mama, sister, wives were fighting over the man. I mean, why did you put that? Oh my gosh. I'm surprised I even read that straight, but I know exactly what you mean. Oh my gosh. The cousin, baby, mama, sister, wives were fighting over the man. Oh my gosh. Autumn says ain't no man worth it or a woman. Absolutely not. I'm not sharing. I will not share. You can have it. You can have him. Not it. You can have them. Cindy B says, this is why I will always have a job. Therapy is always needed. Yeah, and maybe she should have went to a therapist instead of hopping on her brother-in-law. That was absolutely ridiculous. And it's like, even if you wanted to do it 7 weeks after giving birth, I don't have kids and I can't imagine wanting to do anything after birth, but especially hump someone, and especially someone that's not my husband. If I'm getting rid of my husband, get rid of the husband. But why are we going to get pregnant again? We just doubling up on the baby daddies within a year, I guess. I don't know. It's too much, like you said. It's too much. Ricky says, I can see it happening in some rich entitled family where they have maids and nannies to look after the baby care while the adults have drama. Yeah, I guess so. But I also feel like it happens in ratchet places too. Like, I feel like that's not uncommon. I feel like this situation is not uncommon. Maybe not 6 weeks later, but definitely within the realm of a couple months, couple years. I mean, how many people do you know? I know quite a few people that have siblings that was born the same year as them because the daddy was sleeping around with multiple people. Like, we're lucky that this girl's husband didn't also get her sisters pregnant. I thought the sister would be pregnant before her, and then that would have blew it up, and then she was going to have the baby with the brother. I thought that's what was going to happen. But no. Hopefully he doesn't get the sister pregnant, okay? The husband. Or the brother, for that matter. He's clearly willing to impregnate people for no reason. Kimmy Locker says, don't forget to like and subscribe, BriHive. Yes, of course. If you haven't already, please do so. Kimmy Locker says, what a way to reclaim some power. That was the worst way to reclaim power. Like, that was not a good thought process. Autumn says, I didn't want to be looked at. For which one? Akariki says, I think the Whips and Chains Reddit reply was insinuating that 1, she threatened the bro into having sex with her, and 2, she gets off on power plays. Yeah, and I think it was like in her bio that she, like, that's why they're saying it's probably a fake story, but because it sounds like she's trolling, I guess, based on the type of stuff that she has in her bio, and then also this story. Anna says, there's still time for all of that. The sister could get pregnant by either one of the brothers at this point. Just share the same wombs all around. The whole family can just stay connected, right? Paul says, am I the a-hole for getting pregnant by my brother-in-law for revenge? 27% says yes, OP is the a-hole. 0% says no, someone else is the a-hole. 0% says no, nobody is the a-hole. And 73% says yes, everyone is the a-hole. I'm going to go with that. These people are all out of control, to tell you the truth. They're all out of control. I feel like there's no way around these people being considered to be out of control. That's where I'm at with that. Let's see. We got them saying, after giving birth, LOL, don't look, don't touch. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. And I never even had a kid before. And I just imagine it being the worst. The worst feeling to have somebody wanting to rub and touch you after a baby is already rubbing and touching you. Can you guys tell why I haven't had children yet? I don't know if I got it in me. Kimmy says to Autumn, LOL, I'm imagining like Emperor Cusco, no touchy, no touchy, no touchy, no touchy. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Just girls. They're just, I don't know. But yeah, so if you guys are wondering how we got here because Laura Owens. Can we just blame Laura Owens for all of this nonsense? Because this is how we got here. This is literally how we got onto this topic. Let me see. Okay, I want to take it out of the way. Thank y'all for joining me live. I should be back next Thursday. Oh, no, I won't. Next Thursday is a holiday. It's Juneteenth, so I will not be streaming on Thursday. Let's maybe do Wednesday. I don't know. I'll let y'all know if we're going to have a stream next week. I am going to try to catch up on some more cases because, like I said, I haven't been able to. I've been literally going into work early, leaving work late. So I haven't had time to really do a lot of the kind of outside fun stuff that we do on the channel. So I'll try to keep up with some more cases. Thank you for everyone that participated. Let me know if there's any cases that you see coming out that you would like to cover. I can't cover live trials because it takes too long and I don't have the time and availability in my life because I have a 9-to-5 job. So, but if there are any stories or any clips or anything that you guys want to cover on the channel, let me know and I will see y'all all on the next live stream. I hope everyone has a good weekend and thank y'all for joining the stream. Bye.